What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive into our first news. Coach John Kavanagh shared some revealing insight into JDM's mindset after his tough loss to Islam Makhachev at UFC 322. During his conversation with Ariel Helwani, Kavanagh explained that he spent time with JDM the night before, and the welterweight contender openly admitted that Islam's power genuinely shocked him. Kavanagh described the moment with a mix of respect and amazement, pointing out that moving up from lightweight to welterweight is no small jump. He emphasized that while going from 45 to 55 is a 10-pound difference, making the leap from 55 to 70 is a massive 15-pound jump, and feeling that power firsthand clearly left an impression on JDM. Kavanagh went on to say that JDM is a big unit, a naturally solid and strong fighter, but even he was surprised by how powerful Islam felt inside the octagon. According to Kavanagh, JDM admitted that the strength difference was something he didn't fully anticipate, and it played a real factor in how the fight unfolded. The coach explained that this kind of reaction is normal for fighters taking a big step up in weight against someone as dominant as Islam, and it's part of the learning experience that comes with competing at the highest level. When Ariel asked how JDM was handling the loss, Kavanagh said there's really nothing anyone can say in the immediate aftermath that makes a fighter feel better. JDM was understandably bummed and visibly deflated. Even the night after the fight, the disappointment was still all over him. Kavanagh mentioned that JDM was quieter than usual, still processing everything and trying to come to terms with what happened inside the cage. Still, there were small but meaningful moments of support around him. Kavanagh pointed out that JDM had his wife and kids by his side, offering comfort when he needed it most. Even though he was down, Kavanagh believed JDM would pick himself up, regroup, and come back stronger. Fighters at this level are built differently, and Kavanagh said he has no doubt that JDM's mindset and competitive drive will push him forward once he shakes off the sting of the loss. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, Jorge Masvidal opened up on his podcast about the chaos he walked into at UFC 322 and how he was actually on his way to confront Dillon Danis, only to find out that Chanko, also known as John Pork, had already taken care of business. Masvidal said he had been receiving messages from Dillon, the kind that made him feel like something eventually had to happen. According to Jorge, Dillon had been running his mouth for a while, so Masvidal decided that if they crossed paths, it was going to get handled right then and there. Masvidal explained that as he was leaving the VIP room and walking toward his seat, he suddenly ran into Chanko. Police were scattered everywhere, lights flashing, people crowding around, and Masvidal immediately sensed something had gone down. He greeted Chanko and asked what happened. Chanko acted like everything was normal, saying he was just chilling, but Jorge noticed his hands were covered in blood. Masvidal told him straight up that he could clearly see something had happened. Chanko then brushed it off, saying it was just a little problem that he had taken care of. Masvidal laughed, took a picture with him, and kept walking toward the arena. But before he could even reach the stands, UFC staff sprinted toward him in a panic. They told him to stay right where he was and demanded to know what he had gotten himself into. Masvidal said he was confused because he had literally just arrived. Security started grabbing at him, trying to hold him in place, thinking he was involved in whatever had just gone down. Luckily, the UFC always assigns 2 security guards to shadow Masvidal at events, what he jokingly called glorified babysitters, to make sure he doesn't cause trouble or get pulled into someone else's problems. Those guards immediately vouched for him, confirming that he hadn't done anything and had just walked in. Masvidal said he wished he had been the one to confront Dillon, given all the messages in the build-up, but by the time he made it out to the main floor, all the chaos had already wrapped up. Dillon had already been handled, beaten, kicked, and dragged out. Masvidal described it in his own style, saying Dillon got mopped up, kicked in the face, made to eat and lick the floor, before getting tossed out and banned from the event. He couldn't help but laugh at the timing, saying all the fun had already been taken away by the time he arrived. In his words, "Sucks for you," as he wrapped up the story, still amused by how the whole thing unfolded before he could even get involved. Moving on to another news, Bisping and Paul Felder gave their unfiltered breakdown of how Islam Makhachev didn't just beat JDM at UFC 322, but mentally broke him as the fight went on. On the latest episode of the Believe You Me podcast, Bisping made it clear that he initially thought JDM had a real chance because of how impressive he looked against Belal Muhammad, but once the cage door closed, everything changed. Islam shut him down completely. It was domination from the opening seconds, pure pure one-way traffic, and Bisping said JDM just wasn't in the fight at all. Bisping explained that he genuinely felt for JDM because the look on his face during the round said everything. Between rounds, his corner was trying desperately to wake him up, demanding that he stop playing half guard and urging him to push forward. Instead of responding with confidence, JDM looked overwhelmed. His eyes told the story. He looked emotionally drained, mentally exhausted, and as Bisping emphasized, that's not said to insult him. It's something every fighter has experienced when they realize they simply can't do anything against what's coming at them. Felder added that JDM still showed heart. He wasn't going to quit on himself, but by the end of round 1, and definitely after round 2, it felt like he knew what the rest of the fight would look like. 25 minutes of surviving, 25 minutes of trying not to get choked unconscious by someone who felt 2 steps ahead at every moment, and that realization alone can crush a fighter mentally. They pointed out how Islam's top pressure wasn't just controlling, it was suffocating. Every time JDM tried to move, Islam shut it down. Every attempt to escape, Islam smothered. And when the fight was standing, JDM had a different problem: the calf kicks. Felder mentioned that those kicks were destroying him. His leg was clearly compromised, and every step looked painful. By the halfway point of the fight, JDM wasn't just physically beaten, he was emotionally distraught. Bisping said JDM looked like a man who had realized he had no answers. He wasn't angry, he wasn't frustrated, he was simply stuck, trapped in a fight he couldn't change. And that's what made Islam's performance so dominant. He didn't just outstrike him, he didn't just outgrapple him, he mentally broke him in a way that elite fighters rarely experience, leaving JDM searching for solutions that never came. Moving on to another news, Tim Welch and Sean O'Malley broke down the wild moment involving Team Khabib and Dillon Danis at UFC 322, a moment that quickly went viral after years of back and forth between Danis and nearly everyone connected to Khabib. During their UFC 322 recap, they shifted from discussing the fights to the chaos that unfolded backstage, jokingly calling it another TKO of the night as they analyzed what happened in their animated comedic style. Welch explained that for some strange reason, Dillon Danis was bent over in a bizarre position when the moment kicked off. That's when John Pork stepped in from behind and started juicing him, as they described it, landing shots repeatedly until Dillon dropped to the floor. According to their breakdown, Dillon went down hard, and what followed was even more chaotic. Welch and O'Malley pointed out how Dillon's legs started flailing in the air, joking that he was air kicking and wheel kicking like he was trying to throw techniques unconscious. They even noted that you could clearly see his red Nike shoe flying up on camera as he tried to regain orientation while being completely out of it. After that brief but brutal exchange, the security team stepped in and removed Dillon from the area. Welch said this whole thing basically counted as a TKO victory for John Pork, adding to the humor of the situation. They even joked that if anyone ever visits New York, they should check in with John Pork unless they want to end up like Dillon. From there, Welch gave a tongue-in-cheek demonstration of how the incident looked. He said if someone wanted to recreate it, only if the person is Dillon Danis, of course. You'd walk behind him while he's bent over and hit him right in the ear hole. Then you follow with an uppercut while he still doesn't see you. According to Welch, once Dillon gets hit, he'll pull guard immediately, which is exactly what happened during the real altercation. When he pulls guard, he'll start kicking upward, throwing wheel kicks and launching triangles and omoplatas into the air, even though none of them land. O'Malley added that the key to securing that TKO finish is to simply avoid getting tangled in his guard, stay clear of the kicks, keep your distance, and eventually the sequence ends in a clean, comedy-filled TKO win, just like John Pork's unexpected moment of victory that night at UFC 322. Moving on to another news, after defeating Zhang Wei Li, Valentina Shevchenko shared that she is considering moving up to bantamweight to challenge Kayla Harrison for the belt. Shevchenko explained that while it is one of the possibilities, she is currently focused on recovering from her injuries and transitioning from one training camp to the next. She emphasized that after taking a short period to rest, she and her team, including her coach P, will decide on her next steps carefully. Shevchenko acknowledged that there are strong challengers in flyweight like Arman and Natalia, and in bantamweight, Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison remain top contenders. Shevchenko also mentioned that fans would likely love to see an Amanda trilogy, as their previous matchups in 2016 and 2017 were intense and felt like unfinished business. Amanda won the first fight by unanimous decision and the rematch by a split decision, leaving the rivalry still alive in the minds of the fan. However, Valentina pointed out that it is still unclear whether Amanda will return, how soon she might fight again, and in what form she will come back, whether at full strength or not. shot. Despite the uncertainty, the possibility of a third fight remains intriguing for both fighters and fans alike. Shevchenko acknowledged that Kayla Harrison is another potential opponent, describing the challenge as a super challenge due to Kayla's skills and dominance. Shevchenko's focus for now remains on recovery and making a measured decision with her team about her future matchups. She emphasized that she wants to take care of herself, evaluate the challengers in both divisions, and plan her next steps strategically. On Amanda's side, she has expressed interest in fighting Valentina again. Amanda appeared motivated on Instagram, stating that after she defeats Kayla Harrison, she plans to go down to 125 and claim that belt as part of her collection too. This sets the stage for another potential high-stakes matchup between Amanda and Valentina, keeping fans eagerly anticipating whether a third clash will finally settle the score between these two bantamweight icons. Both fighters remain focused on their next moves, with the possibility of a trilogy fight hanging in the balance, promising excitement and drama for the division. Moving on to another news, Coach John Kavanagh offered a fresh update on Conor as he continues preparing for a long-awaited return. Speaking with clear excitement, Kavanagh revealed that Conor is officially back in the gym, fully committed and pushing hard toward fighting at the UFC White House event. According to Kavanagh, everything on their end is 100% locked in. Conor has already asked him to lay out a structured program from now until June, detailing how they'll gradually ramp up training and rebuild the rhythm needed for a high-level comeback. Kavanagh explained that Conor has been showing up early most mornings, getting in the work, and genuinely enjoying the grind again. The spark is there, the energy is there. After Saturday night's show, Kavanagh said his phone was full of messages from Conor, fired up and wanting to fight everybody. While that enthusiasm doesn't necessarily translate into immediate matchups, it clearly shows Conor's mindset. More than anything, he wants to be on that massive card, and he's doing everything on the training side to make that happen. From the logistical and management perspective, Kavanagh made it clear that those discussions are between Conor's team and the UFC. He doesn't get involved in that layer of decision making. His responsibility is preparing Conor for the moment the green light is given, and on that front, things are already moving fast. Conor has tasked him with assembling a strong group of training partners, a team built specifically to sharpen every area of his game. Some sessions will happen in the gym, while others will take place at Conor's home, giving them flexibility and the ability to push hard without distraction. Kavanagh said Conor is fully locked in mentally and physically. They're preparing as if the walk to the octagon is happening in 6 or 7 months. And when asked if he truly believes this return is real, Kavanagh didn't hesitate. If it comes down to Conor's choice alone, he's in. The motivation is absolutely there. The commitment is real. The only remaining pieces are the UFC's internal processes and scheduling. He also reflected on how close they were the last time a return seemed set, how everything was nearly in place before it fell apart at the final moment. This time though, Kavanagh senses a different kind of determination in Conor, a sharper focus that feels like the old days. Conor wants it, he's training for it, and he's doing everything possible to make sure that when the opportunity comes, he's ready to step back into the spotlight. Moving on to another news, Demetrius Johnson broke down what he believes really happened with JDM during his fight at UFC 322, and his analysis has fans looking at that performance in a whole new way. In his latest YouTube breakdown, Johnson pointed out that fighters usually grimace during certain heavy exchanges, especially when they're hit clean or when they're forced into uncomfortable positions. But with JDM, the grimacing wasn't occasional. According to Johnson, it was happening almost the entire fight, and that constant reaction made him think something was definitely off. He explained that when Islam Makhachev secured his takedowns, JDM didn't just react to the pressure or the position. Instead, he kept making that same painful face over and over again. Johnson said that in these situations, a fighter usually has two options: accept you've been taken down, butt scoot, or butt scoop your way back, and then immediately get your hands onto the opponent's face to create distance. From there, the goal is to build a frame, get space, and work your way back up. But every time JDM tried to move, the grimace returned, almost like something inside his body was protesting every shift. Johnson highlighted how he repeatedly noticed the same expression, the same tension, and the same discomfort from JDM in every round. He made it clear he could be wrong, but the consistency intensity of those reactions made it hard to believe JDM was operating at 100%. He felt there was a valid injury JDM was pushing through, something serious enough to affect his entire performance, yet hidden well enough that only someone with fight experience would catch it. The way Johnson described it, this wasn't just a fighter reacting to pressure, it was a fighter reacting to pain. Throughout the exchanges, whenever Islam pressed him, whenever he tried to scramble, and even when the action stalled, that same look showed up. Johnson repeated that he didn't feel JDM entered the cage fully healthy. He believed something was wrong from the start, and the grimacing was the biggest clue. Even though JDM fought with heart, grit, and determination, Johnson felt his expressions revealed a deeper struggle that wasn't obvious to the casual viewer. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.